This is the BULLS Lacuba EVO 8. And I really want to call it the Lacubra because of like Chupacabra or something. I don't know, but it's a cool bike. I mean, this bike is really interesting because it strikes a balance between like tons of utility, really minimalist design with the BULLS battery and motor system that's powerful and got good range, and at the same time being relatively affordable at that like $4,099 price point. And you're probably thinking, some of you, like, well, affordable, that's not affordable. But when you see like what this is capable of and you look at other bikes in the category, they're all like kind of at least this much. And I feel like it's a pretty polished product. So I'm just going to jump right in to what makes this thing special. It's an efficient and super quiet mid-drive system that leverages the gears that you have and offers 90 newton meters of torque, but it comes with a huge battery. It's 37 volts, 17.5 amp hours, and it's removable. One of the other earlier BULLS bikes that I tested, you couldn't remove the battery, and I was complaining about it because sometimes if you use this for commuting, what do you do? Like, where do you charge it? You have to bring it inside or something. You can't always do that. I love that there's this like foam kind of a chip protector on the base of the battery, and again that it clips in so well. They've got this nice integrated kind of display panel thing here and everything, but you can actually take out these screws and you can put a bottle cage on this. And the frame that we're looking at right now, they call it the Wave. It's like a really deep step-through, and I've measured standover height and stuff back at the website, but they also have one that's a little stiffer, but still kind of, it's like a lower step, like a mid step, and then they have the traditional diamond frame high step that's going to be a little bit stronger, kind of a classic design, and maybe kind of the men's bike where you feel like, oh, it's higher. But I like this one personally because it's like you just come to it, real easy to get on, stand over, no problem, and it's just, I don't know, it's utilitarian that way. And especially because it has a rack. Okay, this is a 25 kilogram, which is about 55 pounds max weight capacity. It's like an iRack setup, and it's got these slider hole things that are compatible with their different accessories. It's got the standard spring latch, really nice pannier blockers on the side. And look at that, an integrated pump. Got the SKS fenders built right in, and they kind of connect to the rack, so it reinforces them. They don't rattle a whole lot. Same with the front. They've got those extra support struts. You look at the tires, you've got reflective sidewall stripes, so you're going to be visible, and integrated lights. These are like the Fushan, I don't know, but it is adjustable forward and down. That's a lot of really cool features, and that's a rear light right there too. So, you're going to be able to ride this around the city and be seen and be comfortable, in part because of the big saddle back here, Celi Royale, extra wide and just soft. In part because the NCX suspension fork, air fork, trying to lighten it up a little bit with lockout. I think it's like 63 millimeters of travel. And because you've got an adjustable angle stem. And because you've got the Ergon GP1 ergonomic grips. That's a ton of cool stuff, Like, you could take it a step further and swap the seat post. I'm always talking about Thudbuster, Body Float. SR Suntour has their own version. It's like the NCX suspension post, and that would kind of turn this almost into like a full suspension feel, but it's already pretty awesome. And these tires, this is the Schwalbe Big Apple. They're already pretty plush, 28 by 2 inches. They call them balloon tires, and they've got active line K-guard, kind of like a Kevlar guard in there, so they hopefully shouldn't get flats quite as easily. And then they've got decent spokes on here, I think at the rear, maybe 14 gauge and 13 gauge up front. So reinforced matching black blends in. Disc brakes, hydraulic, going to be easy to actuate. They aren't the highest end. I was looking at some other bikes earlier, the 615s. I think these are like the 359 or something. But it's decent. 180 millimeter rotor up front, 160 in the rear, kind of what you'd expect. And then it's got this kind of spring-loaded, but not automatically folding kickstand back here. So it's, a decent thing from Hebi. I've seen those on some other bikes. It's far enough back that it doesn't come into contact with the pedals if you're backing up. I love that. Just kind of like everything's been refined and dialed in on this bike. It's nice. It's definitely, and it's also really quiet. I keep mentioning the BULLS drive system. It's known for being quiet. It's a geared motor. It's really compact, but there's actually, I think, some sort of like a belt inside that's designed to kind of take off the vibration or the electronic feeling. It sort of smooths it out, makes it more organic feeling. Maybe that's just marketing fluff, but it is quieter unless you get to higher RPMs, and then you hear it just like the other ones. The cool thing that really makes this bike quiet and durable is that it has a belt drive. So check this out, Gates Carbon Drive CDX. CDX stands for like that center track. You can see that there's a stripe down the middle, and that keeps it lined up with that front belt ring. And then you've got an 8-speed Shimano Nexus Inter 8 internally geared hub in the rear. So you'll notice there's no derailleur. It's just the belt that stays on. It's not shifting, nothing's happening, and all the shifting's happening inside that hub, and you can shift at standstill too. So, if you're at a hill and you're like, oops, I forgot, you can kind of shift the gears using this pretty intuitive, grip shifter up here, just like that. Shift it, and it's happening right there. Right when we did that, it shifted. So if this bike tips over, it's pretty well protected on this side. There's no derailleur. On that side, the disc brake's protected by the chainstay, the seat stay on the rack. You got the kickstand. This is the bike that you're like never gonna have to take to the shop to get tuned up. It's just really nice. Everything's set up. Because of that back sort of integrated design in the hub, you'll notice that there's just those big nuts on there. There's no quick release lever, but you do get quick release up front, just a standard skewer. It makes it easy to change a flat, or to maybe, a lot of times I'll take that wheel off and I'll turn the bar sideways like this, and I'll lay it down in the back of my car. I have a Prius, and you can fold the seats down, and it works pretty well. Other times, maybe you have a station wagon or the back of a truck, and it's just nice to take that out. But in this case, keep in mind you do have the fender, and that could kind of get bumped. So it's like, well, and if you get that step-through design, it's really easy to approach, but you can't hang it off the back of your car. Certain racks or bus racks, they don't allow that. But maybe you don't ever need to take the bus again, because this thing gets really good range. I was talking about the battery earlier, 37 volts, 17.5 amp hour. They say like up to 130 miles, and maybe like in the lowest level of assist, but you should certainly get, kind of maybe in that like 40 plus mile range, depending on your weight and the terrain and all those great question marks. Even the wind can have an impact. But this is a 20 mile per hour top speed class 1 electric bike. It's allowable in the most environments. It's the most efficient. It's going to be the most quiet. It's pretty great. Like, this is taking the commuter electric bike, like the every person, everyday electric bike, and making it accessible. 5 different frame sizes. I'm on the 45 right now. And, again, it kind of depends on which frame style you choose. They have different choices. I think there's 3 choices for the steep step through. And then when you get the high step, they have several more, just kind of like a little bit shifted forward along the spectrum. I think that's about it. I do want to call out the BMZ charger. The battery cells inside the battery pack are BMC. Also, this is a 2.5 pound charger. Uses the Energy Bus magnetic charger standard, so it actually sends data if you're doing diagnostics or something at the shop, as well as electricity. And being magnetic, if you trip over it, it just pops right out. It's not a huge deal. And I think it's a 5 amp charger. If we look closely here, output 5 amps. So that means it's going to charge faster than some of the other batteries out there. I haven't been doing this for all the bikes. I would love to have had the keys and stuff, but it's not always the case. But in this case, we do have the key. I'm going to put it in like this. Come on. And then twist it. There we go. All the way. And it's nice. It doesn't spring back. It stays there. But don't forget to take it out, because see, with this crank arm goes right up there and it collides with that key, and now it's like I can barely get it out, and it would break it off, and then you have to wait a long time to get customer support from BULLS or from ABUS. I think that's who makes the log. You see, it's like kind of stuck now. That's just one of those trouble areas that I think it's easy to forget, because you don't want to put the keys on the counter. You want to leave them on the bike, but when you do that, now they're in the way of the crank arm. By the way, here's where you'd charge it if you're charging on the bike. So anyway, let's try this again. Put the key in, turn it, and then there's this like lever, and you push it down. It's like almost like a two-handed kind of thing. I'm gonna try to do it with one hand. I'm gonna use my foot. There we go. And then this pops out. Whoop. There we go. It kind of tumbles out, so be careful. But look at how it has 2 of those Energy Bus ports. One that interfaces directly with the bike when you're riding, and one that, shines through on that little porthole that we looked at a minute ago. When it's off the bike, I think you can charge on either of those, which is pretty cool. Got the little rubber pads there designed to help it not vibrate. And then we've even got like a power level, charge level indicator built right in. We're not quite there yet, but when I charge and try to turn on the bike, I'm going to need to press that once, and then I'm going to need to press the display again to get the bike to go. That's when it's kind of a two-step thing. There we go. There's the 647.5 watt hours, the pad. I was weighing this earlier, 7 pounds. Not too bad. Just kind of cool, be able to hold it like that, and you know, it kind of looks like a bike, even with or without the battery. Get it back on, kind of fit it up here like that, and then you gotta carefully click it in. You can see it's trying to click in. I think it's holding sort of steady there, and now I can push this down. There we go, now it's locked. Remember that key. Take that out. Do you have to, yeah, okay, good, it's locked. Great. I was wondering, this is Fernando. He works at BULLS and he's helping me out earlier. Do you have to twist the key back in any certain direction, or does it automatically, like, you can take the key out in the locked or unlocked position?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Oh, so if you don't if you leave it like this, then you can use the lever.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, interesting. Yeah. So just be careful not to do that. So like, it's locked, it's clicked in. Did you click it there? It's clicked. And then we have to turn the keys all the way back to really lock it. So it's, you know, a little bit of extra steps there, kind of making sure that things are right, and then get this cover sealed. But otherwise, I think it's pretty solid. And I love that there's, you got a belt cover over here, plastic. Just keeps your pants from getting greasy or whatever. But the belts are so clean. It's almost just, it's like above and beyond what you need. I don't want to forget these keys, so I'm going to give those back to you. And I think I'm going to hop on this thing. Was weighing it earlier. I think it's about 56 pounds. So, you know, there is some extra weight, especially with this step-through like this, like the Wave model. They have to reinforce the frame and everything. But you've got the suspension, you've got the racks, you've got the extra big battery. It adds up. And even I think internally geared hubs are more, they're heavier than, you know, the other style. Okay. So as I was saying before, you know, you put the battery in, you kind of have to like prime it or something, like turn it on. And then up here, there's a little on-off switch on the top of that toggle. And you might recognize this. They have the transflective, like, display, you know, minimalist design on their mountain bikes. Well, this one, they actually have a big display, real easy to see, and you can actually twist it and take it off. It's got micro USB built right into the bottom, so you can kind of top off your phone or your MP3 player. Just phenomenal. Really like this setup. And this makes it reachable. It reminds me of Bosch. They have the Intuvia with the button pad. It's sort of the same layout, plus, minus, and then the middle, you tap that and it does information. On the side, we have light, and then there's a walk mode too. So I'm gonna turn it back on. There we go. You see it come to life here. And then we've got our battery. It's got 5 bars, gives you a decent indicator of how much battery is left, speed, miles per hour, and then as I click up here, you're gonna see it go from an empty box to 1 box full, 2 box, or 3 box. So you really got like 3 levels of assist and then 4 different drive modes. Down here where it says trip distance, that's what changes when you press the middle, so I'm gonna go through that. There's a lot of things. There's calories a second ago, trip time, average speed, max speed, total distance, total time, time of day. That's a lot. There's just tons of information here. Almost more than you need, so I like that the top at least just stays like static. It's like, yep, here's how fast you're going. That's nice to know. Here's how full your battery is. I guess it'd be nice if they had one here that said battery percentage, because sometimes the bars, it's like each one of those is 20%. You know, what's the difference between 100% and 80%, or maybe 0% and 20%? Like, that's enough to get back home right there, and all that you're getting is a bar graphic. But again, gets really good range. So we're in the highest level of assist, so you can hear it. I'm gonna pedal, and you'll notice that as I pedal at higher RPM, the motor noise becomes more pronounced. Oh, and a bell. Gotta love that. Oh boy. Let's go for it. Just so quiet right now. And you'll see it's fairly responsive, but that chainring was kind of turning a little bit longer than when I was pedaling. Let's try this again. This time I'm gonna be in a lower gear, higher RPM, and as I'm spinning faster, you might hear the motor more. we're about up to that 20 miles per hour, that's kind of where the motor eases out. But gosh, it's so quiet. That's one of the big pluses for me with this system. It's smooth, it's quiet, and it uses a combination of cadence sensing and torque sensing to propel you, to activate. Okay, so I'm getting ready to go up a hill. I want to shift down. And I'm doing that, and you can kind of see it back here near the hub, and I'm just going to start pedaling. Working pretty well. You know, one of the trade-offs that the Bros motor system has compared to Bosch or some of the others is there's no shift sensing. Okay, so you do rely on that torque and cadence sensor and just sort of ease off just as you would with a normal bicycle, but in this case you have the added power of the motor. It can cause some mashing. But with an internally geared hub like the Inter 8, it doesn't matter. There's nothing to mash. There's no derailleur, so shifting is a lot easier, it's smoother. And that's just another advantage of this particular arrangement of components. And I'm tall enough that on this, particular size and layout, that adjustable stem is like all the way forward and down, but I could raise it and I could make my arms even more relaxed. That's kind of that upright, heads up, easy to spot traffic and friends and stuff, almost like a cruiser. So I love how adjustable it is. Again, I called that out before, but I just wanted to give you some idea of what my body position is right now. It's really comfortable. It's just quiet, and it almost doesn't look like an e-bike. And we got some different power level indicators there on the side, like as I push, how much is me versus how much is the motor. That's kind of cool too. And I just, big displays are nice, but being able to take it off is such a win for me. Well, that is the BULLS Lacuba EVO 8. Pretty awesome to see this stuff, and it's just getting cheaper all the time. Like, being able to include all these different features and have so many different sizes and have a 2-year warranty on all of the electronic stuff, 5 years on the frame. This is either like a really fun, long distance, long lasting bike, or a car replacement potentially. It's really cool that way. So for the full write-up on this with specs and the standover height and some of those other details and comments, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Of course, chime in if you have this bike or have any feedback about it, and have fun, ride safe.